Mm-hmm.
Okay, hi everyone. We have another live stream here, and we are looking at flight data. And let's see. You also have a rough page, you said.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so let's understand what this basically is. So this is, we've had functionality in Wolfram Alpha for a long time. Can I see something more impressive? Okay, so this, for
Then
example,
look at the ref page. Scroll down.
Okay, there we go. So, all right. Now, what happens if I want a 3D flight map?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we would have to roll it totally on its own. I think we should wait until we have geographic 3D.
Yeah. And probably the geo trajectory function.
Right. Okay, but if I want to get, for example, the sequence of geopoints here, that exists, right?
Yes.
So, for example, if I wanted to get the height of that, let's look at that particular flight. We should pick an airline that we don't think is going to go out of business anytime soon. For our examples. Anyway.
But it's flights. It's concrete flights. So this flight will always be there because
I know the flight has already existed. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's take this as an example. And how do I get the sequence of geopoints out? Or how do I get the heights out?
You can ask for the altitude, or if you want the full thing, you can get the position, which will have the altitude.
Well, no. What I want is a time series of the altitude.
Right.
How do I get that?
So that would be flight data of the flight, altitude, and then comma all, which will get all of the.
As a time series?
Yes.
Obviously, we're not auto-completing correctly yet. That was nice and zippy. Okay, so if I now say dateless plot. Cool. That's really cool. I mean, we've obviously got that data in Wolfram Alpha, but this is really nice to be able to get this programmatically. Right, so let's find out, and presumably we can also do this as I see, that could be a dated query, yes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh.
No, I don't think.
No, not.
But it could be. I mean, it would be more timed than dated. You see what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Right now, it's mostly set up to work through flight data.
Right.
Don't use the entity on its own yet.
Yeah. There's some data you can get out of the entity, but not the.
Where should I store this? Does it get its own thing? Sorry, what are you saying?
Right now, use flight data as the accessor, not yet sub-values to the entities.
Okay, all right, fine. But that's a becoming attraction. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do we think we want a timed as well as a dated to deal with a case like this?
I'm not sure. Do you mean timed instead of dated?
Yeah, because it's going to be from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m.
I see.
And it's a little bit weird to say dated. That's fine if it's 1644 or something, as opposed to 1644 p.m. Central time or something.
But on the other side, introducing a simple time just for this purpose seems a little bit overkill. Then we should think about other users.
Oh, no, obviously. Obviously, I'm suggesting that as a, it's just like we have all this dateless plot. And I mean, that's a discussion, probably an LCC discussion about time versus date.
Yeah.
And because I think there's an argument that, dateless plot, there should also be a timeless plot that has some slightly different, defaults, but is otherwise very similar.
Right.
And that I would suggest as a, is there anybody project managing here?
Probably not.
Okay, so can I take somebody? Can somebody here take that to LCC?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's keep going here. All right. So let me understand a few more things. So if I want to know of that flight, what type of plane was on that flight? What was that flight? Sorry, what type of plane was that flight? What is that?
It's
Aircraft.
Aircraft, yeah.
Shouldn't it be called aircraft type? That's weird. Why would it not be available?
Unfortunately, I think our data there is fairly spotty.
Okay, but okay. My question, by the way, I think it should be called aircraft type.
Okay.
And by the way, there are situations like with private planes, general aviation, where there's a tail number, right?
Right.
Do we have where is the tail number? How do we get the tail number? Do you understand my question?
We don't have this.
Ever? I thought we did.
No. I think I've seen them somewhere.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm sure for general aviation we have tail numbers. In fact, I've seen them come up in our data.
Yes, we have them. I have seen them too.
Find those.
Okay. Why did that fail? Okay. What's this? That's a bizarre entity ID. That's a flight ID, presumably a little bit like okay.
That's, those are the standard names within FlightData.
Are those sequential by flight takeoff time in a day or something, roughly?
I believe so.
Okay. Do we like that kind of, I mean, I don't think it's horrifying, that standard name. Comments about it?
It's around as good as standard names are for people or other things.
For us, good. Yeah, same.
Okay. And if we extend to international, we'll just have a different designator for that. Right?
Yeah.
So there'll be some kind of, I mean, we're thinking about this. I mean, if we think it might be worth adding a US designator at the beginning of this. US 2021, blah, 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 blah. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the designator would be the starting point.
The designator would
Well,
be
the source.
You mean what place? Well, yeah, okay. It could also be the data source in some sense. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That there might be versions of the same flight with different data sources.
Yes.
Definitely.
I see. So it'll be the originating country. Okay, so maybe I don't know how we deal with that. Okay, maybe there's some simple thing we can do here to indicate that. I mean, if these are just designated names, we could just add a letter at the beginning of this to indicate this is our current, F something or other.
Yeah.
Something.
Right.
Or even, I mean, this comes from the FAA, does it not?
Yeah.
So what about a designator, FAA, blah, 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 blah? Is that their designation that we're using here?
No, I think this is.
Where does it come from? And what is their designator? Okay, why don't you go find that out, okay?
Mhm.
If this is close to their designator, I would recommend using something like this. That makes sense?
Mhm.
Okay, so now let's take a look. Okay, flight path.
Yes, this will be the geo position with altitude information and so forth.
Okay, so those are the raw
Mhm.
values of this then.
Right.
Now, does that flight path have that? The geo positions have times in them, presumably, because geo positions can have times in them.
Right.
Okay, so let's say normal a %9. Oh gosh, how do I get the individual geo positions out of this?
You will have to take the first part.
Okay, this isn't what I thought it was, right? That isn't
Right.
what.
It doesn't have the timestamps, yeah.
Right. That's.
Well, wait a minute. Let's be clear. Geo position can have timestamps, can it not?
No.
That's not true.
I
Oh no, it has height, but I thought it had a timestamp as well.
Yeah.
No. Pretty sure that was part of what was going to be geo trajectory.
yes,
But
I think so
what
too.
Okay, all right.
Functionally.
Okay, I'm wrong then. Okay. So geo trajectory. Okay, fine. Then this is what it is. And the third element there is the correct. That looks very unconvincing. That looks very unconvincing. That is above the operational ceiling of a typical plane if that's in meters. And that quantity is in meters, right?
Right. But that is what the sources give us.
No. What are you
No,
talking about?
no,
What
no,
are you talking about?
I think kind of it's a unit issue.
It's wrong. It's just plain wrong.
It's probably feet.
Yeah, that's in feet, but this is in meters.
Yeah.
So either we have to now, it's a round number in feet, which is good, but for the geo position, we have to give it in meters. Otherwise, we'll just get completely the wrong answer.
Yeah. I thought I made some experiments and it was working correct.
Right, but what do you do with the fact that it isn't a round number in meters? Do you understand what I'm asking?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I mean, here, for example, I could say geodisk. This is going to be a cute thing. Watch this. Can I just say geodisk of all of those? I guess I probably can. And I can say geographics. Oh, this
That will probably not work because GeoDis does not want the 3-arc list.
Oh, geovisible region.
That will also not work. I think
Why
they want geo positions, not flat lists. So you want to go back to
what do I want to do?
earlier,
I want to go back to
percent 9-ish.
Mhm.
Okay. That's not good. Why doesn't that work?
I think it works only for a single one.
So that's again, that should be fixed.
Yeah.
How do I break this into single ones?
I do not know of a way to do this.
Okay, so this is a problem which we need to talk about.
I can discuss with Jose.
What the heck is this?
Again, I think GeoVista. No, this should work. Why does this work?
But that's wrong as well. Because first to %9 How far did this plane fly? Oh, not very far.
Mhm.
So because of your crazy geopositions, which are obviously wrong, right? The plane can see as soon as it
Yeah.
takes off. That's amusing. Okay, but anyway, that workflow is messy, right, and should be cleaned up.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back here. So now one of the big questions is, how do I find? Okay, so given a flight, I understand this. Now, future flights, if I say of that flight, I mean, I don't understand. There must be lots of future flights here. Well, that was only in
Well,
August of this year.
But this is not with respect to a flight.
What does that mean? That's future flights of that. I don't know why those entities didn't format.
mhm.
Do you understand my question?
That's
And
this is the prototype, yeah?
Okay, fine. I mean, you're asking, is this a prototype build?
Yeah.
I think so. Let's check. Yeah. Who
Okay.
knows? It's a bug. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, what you were also showing, I think, in your agenda here is what it takes to find something goofed out there. Search for flights by, okay, that's nice. So for example, if I want to find, how can that be the only one?
By default, it's going to look for the current day. So there's going to be one flight for that current day matching. The
Okay,
flight
what
number.
happens if I want all flights for Southwest Airlines?
That's not supported at the moment.
Well, it probably should be. So what happens? I don't understand where it's said for the current day. Look, it should not be called flights if it's for the current day. It should say daily flights or something. How do I get the flights for the last week?
With the third argument for the time period that you're interested in.
Flight number 1644, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so how do I get last week? The last week.
So you'd have a date range. So of
No. Is it a list of days or what is it?
it's a beginning and end date.
Okay, so it's like weather data.
Yes.
So it's now minus 2 weeks to now. That doesn't look convincing. Don't believe it. In fact, we already know that that's not correct
Yes.
because we already have an August 9th, 1644. Okay, so let's say I go back 10 weeks. No, that's nonsense.
Yeah, I'll
Nonsense.
look into what's breaking there. Should be coming up with more than that.
Well, it's just wrong. I mean, it's just not
Mhm.
paying
Yeah.
attention. What it's
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
is it's just going to that first date, right? That's the date. I don't even know what that is. 10 weeks ago. It's, sometime in June. That doesn't seem even right. Who knows? It's broken. Okay. So that was finding a flight number. Now, wait a minute. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. That's cool. You can do that. That's really nice. Okay, so let's try something fairly minor. Let's try not these. Well, okay, that's okay. Let's do this. Let's just see what happens if I generate all of them. Okay, so something went wrong with the entity designation. But now, if I were to plot flight data. Actually, this is going to be really interesting. Flight data, flight path, right? Flight data of that. Now, presumably I can take the whole list and I can say flight path, yes?
Yeah.
It'll give a list of flight paths. Yes, right?
An association. But
why is it an association?
Each of the.
You want to preserve from which it comes, I think.
I see. So now if I say, what do I want to say? I want to say GeoList plot of this, don't I?
That might.
I know we have an example like that in the documentation.
What the heck is that?
I'm not sure if GeoList plot wants the association.
Okay, well, if it doesn't, it should take them.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Oh my gosh, what's this? Help. Okay, all right. So let's take values because I really want to see this %25. So now what this should give us, right, is so presumably the joined, this will show us the bundle of geodesics, so to speak, between those two airports.
Right.
And it will give us some, what is the implication of actually that bundle of geodesics? It's going to give us something about the effective curvature of the, okay, that is super ugly. That has many problems. Like, why on earth did it do this stupid thing here? And why are these so thick?
But this is just the default GeoList plot behavior.
Well, okay, but that's bad. So in this case, that did a bad thing. Okay. I'm very, very confused by why the GeoList plot produced these weird, okay. So my next question, my very fundamental question is, if these things are going to JFK, okay, here's what you did wrong, in my view. You chopped those things based on time of day. Those are the red eyes, I claim. And you lost the other part of the red eye flight. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Let's see. Just double checking.
I don't know why on earth it did this. Why did it do this? That's absolutely not something it should do.
Yeah, that might be the case that it got chopped. Yeah. All right, well, we can fix that.
Okay, glad we tried a across the country version to know that. Right, I think flight path should be the complete flight path independent of the day, right?
Yeah.
That's really interesting though, that there's so much deviation.
Yeah.
Wow. It's different airlines also.
That's true. Why did it do this? That's so goofy what it did there. I think that has to do with the fact that those were all Geo Position wrappers. Anyway, show them this example.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look at a few other things here, and then we should wrap soon. This is wonderful, guys. This is really wonderful. I've been waiting for this for so long, but this is exceeding expectations in terms of the kinds of cool things you can do. Okay, I do have to try the one obvious mathematical thing. What am I going to try? What am I going to try? You know what I'm going to try. No, that should surely be a null list.
Okay.
Right?
I am not convinced. You might have
a sightseeing.
Make a loop for sightseeing.
I know that, but then missing not available isn't the right answer. It's you didn't find any.
I'm not sure what's the difference. Like
because missing not available.
But if we return a list, we would claim there weren't any, but we don't know this.
Well, but wait a minute. what we're returning is the flights we have in the flight database, correct?
Right.
But this is not the viewpoint we take on data. The viewpoint we take
All
on
right,
data
okay.
is, kind of we answer a question about the real world, not if we have it.
But isn't this returning a list by default?
Yes. And it would be an association, but yes, it would be.
But in this case, we don't have any, so we
Yeah,
have
okay,
nothing
fair enough,
available.
fair enough, fair enough.
We cannot
fair enough.
guarantee there wasn't any.
Okay, fine. Okay, so let me just check this. If I say something like, so these are non-stop flights, right?
Right. No, we don't have. Yeah.
That's fine. So that's actually really kind of interesting because just even counting the number of flights is interesting, right?
Mhm.
So like let's say we say, I'm curious about this.
And you can have also, say, on the right side, a wildcard to get all flights.
Okay, why can't I have all then? I should be able to have all, arrow all, right?
Yeah, you can replace. Yeah,
That's what I mean.
Yep, there you go.
Wow, Coolosaurus. Now, how do I find out where those flights went to?
You could go
Say destination?
Destination, yeah. Destination airport.
Where is that?
It's first D, right there.
That says departure airport.
Oh, departure, arrival airport. Sorry.
Okay, so flight data.
Percent.
Why is that slow?
I think it's the entity rendering for the airports.
I think so too.
What the heck is that doing? Okay, let's drill into that one because I don't know what that one. Those must be private. Okay. By the way, what on earth are some of these? That's a really weird one. Let's find out what that flight was. I'm predicting private flight, but that must have been a jet. Okay, let's go find out what that flight was. Okay, so now what do we do here? So I take that entity and I say flight data.
Yeah, you can do it.
I can just say data set.
Mhm.
That is truly odd. Don't you agree? It's a very obscure.
It's interesting.
I don't know. I can't comment.
People have private planes here in Champagne.
Yeah, but they're
they
flying
use
to
it and-
Nantucket.
Right.
Yes. Right. Why is there that? Why is there that thing there? What is that? Oh, that's a tail number.
Oh, you do.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not an airline. It's
No, I understand that, but
Yeah.
why doesn't this show when it says airline?
yeah.
we should say missing private, missing general aviation
Okay.
in this case, if we know it.
Right.
Flight status, that's a really lame status. I mean, that I assume that there's a. Do we have entities for flight status?
No.
No.
What should we have for flight status?
I agree. Entity would be there would be basically just 3. Yeah.
No, there could be many more.
Like what?
Idling, right? If it's landed, if it's boarded, could be
But-
boarding.
But we don't know this. I mean, from the ones that we know. We only know it's in the future, it's happening, or it's in the past. I think those are the only 3 we know.
We don't know if it's rerouted to some other airport. Due to weather.
I don't know. Do we know this?
I'm looking up. I think you're right, Michael, that there's only 3.
Okay. So there's no delayed option.
But flight status is right
I
now.
know. If it's
What's
in the air,
happening with it?
okay.
Is it in the air or not?
Oh, wait,
And
no,
if not, then kind of slight refinement.
there are 7 possibilities. There's landed, in flight, delayed, filed in, scheduled, and then arrival status unknown,
I see.
and schedule expired, basically.
And
So we could have a
cancel?
small EP table for that.
cancelled? Could be cancelled also, right?
Well, that's not, I mean, I think that would be schedule expired.
It would be odd to have an entity for something that never happened.
But you have it at the airport. I mean, what you see on the boards there, right? Is you see it's cancelled or it's delayed.
Well, the question is, what is a flight? It's a very quantum kind of question.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a specific instance of.
It's a scheduled event. If it's not happening, then it's not
Well,
happening.
not if it's general aviation, it's not.
They filed a flight
Okay,
plan
so
for
general
it.
aviation, I can imagine a situation where somebody files a flight plan, but they never do it. They never execute it.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I mean, so what we need to say is flight data is, you know, because it is, in fact, it's registered. It does not include general aviation. Okay, here's a question. Does it include, you know, if you're flying a random little Cessna, okay, it clearly doesn't include that, right? Correct?
Yes. Otherwise, you would see it in the champagne.
Okay, I think this is, you know, whatever it is, you know, part, I forget the numbers, 530 or something, I don't remember what it is, but it's some type of flight that this is. Okay, with some kind of flight plan and some kind of tracking information. So we should specify what it is that we're actually giving. Does that make sense?
You look into this.
I'll find that information and make sure it's documented.
But because there's a flight school at Champagne Airport, and you can learn to fly in Champagne. So
what are you talking about? Bjorn, it's an airport. It has planes at it. What point are you making?
Well, they have a separate hangar where they store the little planes where the people.
Yes, I realize that. I know that. What's your point?
The point was, okay, that not all flights are show up here in our data feed.
Right.
No, that's right. But it is a particular type of flight that shows up,
Yes,
which
yes.
is designated by some FAA part.
Yes, we will find out. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Okay, and that will inform what I suspect is the case, which is that flight plans that are not executed show up here. Okay. That's really bizarre. Oh, I see. That's based on its flight plan, right?
Right. Exactly.
Right. So it left early. That was fast. I just looked it up. It's a little Hawker plane. Anyway. Okay. So what else should we look at here? Okay. Time to landing, time since takeoff.
Yeah, there's
maybe we should have, I mean, what do we have? Oh, we have departure delay, arrival delay. You know, I have to say, I think that these should be broken up into more subcategories on the documentation page because I'm having a really hard time finding things here.
Okay.
Flight path is weird because a lot of these are, you know, after the fact. Okay. Mean speed, if I ask for it for a plane that already happened. Okay, so if I say here, oh, mean speed makes sense. But if I say here, okay, so this flight already happened. And now I say altitude, what's it going to say? It's going to say 0.
No, because it's not in the air.
Okay, don't say not applicable. So say something like, make it more explicit.
Mhm.
You know, what should we say? Not flying? No, that seems rather silly. What should we say?
It's on the ground.
Not active.
Well,
No, it's a flight. It's not the airplane.
right. So it's more that flight's concluded.
Not current, or
Not current, yeah.
it might be that it's in the future.
What about flight completed?
It might be in the future, Michael.
Yeah.
Flight not active, flight not current, flight
not in progress.
Oh, that's good. No, yeah, not in progress.
Mhm.
Flight not in progress. Something like that.
Okay.
By the way, Ethan suggests that we compute the traveling salesman tour, but look at this. It's a JD6 bundle. They're not JD6. That's a lovely plot. It's very interesting. I'm really surprised at how big that deviation is.
There are a couple of interesting.
What's that?
There are a couple of other interesting things one can do. I played a little bit around, like take 100 random flights and show in the beginning and ending, so starting and landing phase, height versus time. Gives also nearly universal power laws.
Yeah, that example is further down in the documentation.
Okay,
yeah, I got that in there. It's near the bottom, down underneath.
That's an interesting plot. That's an interesting thing. I would do a date histogram of that.
Okay.
Actually, I'm now curious just for my own.
Probably for a bigger airport, more interesting.
I'm going to do LAX. So this is the daily one, right?
Yeah.
So what is a day?
Midnight to midnight.
Okay, so this will be
in local time zone, or
yeah.
What happens when there's a time change?
Oh, not local time. It's all in UTC.
No, that's stupid. Then for this, because the look, no. I mean, you're saying that because that hits the middle of a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
Yeah.
What the heck is this? So you understand that this, why is that 17? Why is such weird times? Why is that date histogram not showing up with better labeling? Could somebody make a screen capture complaint to Brett and so on about that?
Yep.
Okay, but the question here is, and by the way, if I do this again, I assume.
Yeah, you might see some change.
Well, no,
not so fast.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to, let's say, how many does that give me? 5 things per bin or something? Or is that 5 bins? I can't remember.
That'd be 5 things, or with the 5, probably.
I think so too.
Well, so who knows what it's going to look like. But okay, so time zone is a problem, right? What are we going to do with time zones? What are we going to do for the daily? I mean, I think we want in local time, but what do we do with the time switches? Oh my gosh, there it is, but very, very, very faint. Yeah, well, that wasn't so bright on my part. Okay, whatever. Okay, so that's really interesting, actually. Why are there two? It's like tides. Why are there 2 things per day? Unless this is just so messed up in terms of times. And okay, are we converting to local time? We should give everything in local time. Yeah, this UTC isn't right. I should have
Okay.
noticed that before, right? What do flights that flights are usually given in their departure time zone, right?
Yeah.
I think
So
so.
6 p.m. to such and such. Right?
Yeah. Okay, so we can make that conversion.
Okay. So what were you saying, Michael? You were saying,
Yeah, go for
oh, that's cool. I think these examples, by the way, are overly complex and should be. Okay, flights overhead.
Yeah, that's a WFR that we've put out in the last few months.
Right. This thing that Michael was commenting on.
A little bit more down.
Yeah, you're almost there. There it is.
Okay. That's planes climbing.
Mhm.
Right. I'm actually surprised there aren't more, oh, I see, that's too low. If you go higher, you're going to see different flight levels breaking up, right? It's like climb to, I don't know, flight level 30 or something. It'll be as opposed to 31 or 32 or whatever else. So you'll see it should break into, assuming that, what you had before was things which, had round numbers in feet at least.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned about the conversion to meters and the fact that we're going to break up all those round numbers. And I think we need to look at this again. Makes sense?
Yeah.
Frozen is commenting that on a live stream that it should be in UTC. Yeah, the local time function does correctly wrap it. So the thing you get is a time marker that it knows is in such and such a time zone. So if you convert to another time zone, it will do the right thing. So for example, what should be the case? Okay, so the departure time and the arrival time should both be stated as data objects in their appropriate time zone for where they are, right? So to figure out, if you want to figure out the duration of the flight, it's one minus the other, and it will correctly do the time zone conversion.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just have to include that time zone info in the data
Yes,
objects.
we do. Yes, we do. And we need to be careful about that, knowing, we'll have to do the cached lookup of the arrival and departure cities. But we don't want to do that dynamically. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this looks lovely. Very interesting. And
okay, we make the changes.
I just love this plot. I want to see more geodesic bundles. This is just like I'm almost, if that didn't have the glitch, I would probably even tweet this because I'm so keen on the concept of anyway, okay.
So you want, for the bundle, you want them both. So that's the same day at the start airport, the same day at the end airport.
No. Stephen just want to make sure that if a flight goes overnight, that we don't lose something.
Right. We don't chop the data. We get the whole thing.
Right. So this is the initiated during the last day. And I think there's going to be a little bit more trickiness about the last day.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think the last day should always refer to the starting airport.
Why? It could also be the final airport.
I think it should be the starting airport. That's what
Mhm.
flights are quoted in terms of
Yeah.
the 6 p.m. from wherever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm reminded of it from 30 years ago. Okay, stupid story I have to tell. I think it was American Airlines. I can't remember, but some airline. They had this telephone information system where you could call and find when a flight was going to arrive, because that was before the web and all that kind of thing. And so I called to find out when a flight is going to arrive. And the flight had been delayed from the current day across a midnight to something slightly after midnight. And the system went bonkers. And, as part of my responsibility as a, software technology person, I reported that bug. I forget what it even took to report it, but it was kind of an interesting process to actually report that bug. Of course, I don't know if they fixed it, but they seemed to be happy that it was reported. Just kind of one of those funny things.
Got some voucher for 500 miles for.
I should have done that, yeah. But I think by the time the person you were reporting it to was so far away from anybody capable of issuing vouchers that let's see. Yeah, Frozen is commenting about UTC and getting local time. Yeah, we already have all that stuff. Can one use find geolocation of a flight? That's a good idea. Why not? We might as well hook that up.
It might be tricky because we assume normally that the objects are static.
But find geolocation, if you feed it an entity for a flight, probably could do the right thing. It's a corner case. Okay.
So I'm still not quite sure. What should it do?
Well, I think what it would do is it would look at the flight. If it's in the air, then find out
where does it have flight location? Where does it have current location?
You can get the position. Yeah.
The search from below.
Okay. And that should not be capitalized, et cetera. But okay. Ethan is complaining that he wants more advanced content in his live streams. That there are different ones about different things, but also commenting on more computer vision. Okay, we're going to have some more about video content, I believe. And the compiler, you will be hearing more than you could possibly ever want about the compiler quite soon. Okay. Ethan is pointing out that there's a nice video from Yusung from 10 years ago about flight paths.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that?
I think he made this for SIGGRAPH.
Oh. Well, hopefully we can now do it. All right. Great stuff.
Okay, we make the relevant changes.
Yep, and I think we'll probably want to do one more iteration of this. But nice functionality. It's taken a while.
Yep.
Okay, see you guys soon.